Now we have our prescription playbook, brought to you by the experts at Valley Regional Healthcare. And last week we started the first half of the interview with Dr. Ergen. This week we'll get to the second half about Rob Gronkowski and that injury. Patriots have seemed to navigate the season pretty well despite his injury, as opposed to years past where it's been so sudden and then they've dropped off really quick. That's got to be a big help, I guess. They've had some time.
They have had some time to adjust, kind of change things around. We talked to Dr. Ergen last week about how this injury was going to affect Gronkowski going forward. We saw him on the field this week, kind of not partying, but celebrating a little bit. So you hope that the doctors didn't see that and something was wrong there. But it'll be interesting to see what he has to say here, because this is more about the Patriots going forward.
Right.
How is he going to recover? How quickly do things have to be decided? Etc.
Yeah, so in this part of the interview, we do talk to Dr. Ergen. When a player is injured, the sideline doctors have to make a quick assessment on the field. How important is that decision in a player's ability to recover? Also, how likely is re-injury with a herniated disc, and can a player avoid getting injured in the future? So let's take a look with Dr. Ergen.
It's often a very difficult decision because the coach is looking at you, the player's looking at you, and they want to know yes or no, can this player go? And you've got to make a fairly quick assessment based on a lot of times range of motion, strength, how did the injury happen? If it's a lower extremity injury, can the player walk on it? If they can walk on it, can they run on it? If they can run on it, can they stop and pivot on it? And you have to assess that quickly on the sidelines. The likelihood of re-injury with a disc herniation at that level is fairly small because the disc has already been herniated and removed. The possibility is that there could be instability at that segment, but that's where allowing adequate time for healing and then adequate time for muscle strengthening around the injury is necessary. Well, you'd like to think that you are when you're out playing, but in many cases it's not, because you never know where the hit is going to come from. You sort of have to play the game smart, play it at your speed, and have your eyes open and your head looking all directions to see where things are. At the upper levels, at colleges and above, and at some high schools, there's usually an athletic trainer and a doctor on the field for football in particular. Sometimes also for hockey, which is another collision sport. But the doctor and the athletic trainer generally work together. I develop a close relationship with the athletic trainers on the teams that I work with, trust them to do certain things, but when you're on the sidelines and something happens, you know to snap into action right away and get out there and take a look at things. Valley Regional Orthopedics is now available at Valley Regional Hospital in Claremont.
All right, well, thank you to Dr. Ergen from Valley Regional Healthcare for doing that and sitting down with us. And as he talked about, re-injuring is a big thing, and that's really what the Patriots are going to be keying on, I think, in the coming years. Will he, obviously he starts this year.
Right.
What kind of feelers do the Patriots have out there for this year? Any small type of injury? Does he get traded? We've seen Belichick do that in the past, trade away players who he thinks aren't going to help the team, or is his contract so valuable right now that there's no chance he gets traded?
Yeah,
it's too team friendly.
Right, I don't think he's going to get traded per se. I think they're going to use, like we alluded to last week, they're going to use this next coming year as more of a trial basis to see if they want to commit to this guy long term.
Yeah.
Like you said, the biggest thing there is re-injury. Anytime you get injured in sports, if it's an ankle, if it's a foot, a hand, a wrist, a back, whatever it may be, you always have in the back of your head re-injury. So for Rob Gronkowski, he wants to come out next year, improve. Let's get that first hit and realize he's going to be okay. Obviously, any injury just takes one hit, but It's important to be confident enough to play like your normal self. When Rob Gronkowski's healthy, he's the best tight end in football. There's no question about that. But for him, he has to tell himself in his head, let me just go out and play my game, and I know I'm not going to get injured, and that's a big thing. So I think for the Patriots, it's let's see what he has next year and see if we want to give him the money he's going to want.
And it seems like, I don't know if it's the position or what it is, but this year, Martellus Bennett with some injuries, and we might be talking about that sometime in the future as well, but he's even looked, I don't think he's second-guessing anything, but he's clearly not 100% either. Maybe it's just, I don't know if it's just the position or what, but Patriots used to have these great tight ends, and it's kind of, I don't want to say gone to be a weak point, but it's hard to keep people healthy and keep just plugging and playing.
And it's a big part of the Patriots' offense. Obviously, they've gotten away with it this year with Gronkowski being out, but it's still part of their offense they have to solidify going forward.
All right, so we'll keep that segment going next week as well. We're going to take one final break. When we come back, we'll talk some MLB Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame, who got in, who's going to get in next. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.